Hello, everyone. The Destiny API has finally been updated, meaning that we can actually go ahead and look at all of the roles that the Spire of the Watcher dungeon now has. So we're going to go ahead and show you all every single gun. There are 6 of them, and we're just going to show you what the best role is for every single one. There's some very interesting rules from what I can see now, so I can't wait to see what these all have entail. So without further ado, let's go right into it. So first weapon on the list here is the 7th Seraph Officer Revolver, 180 RPM hand cannon. We're going to do these ones first. This one in the carbine just because they're older guns. So just so you understand that. As for barrels, I don't really know exactly what barrel you would want here. I'm just going to put Hammer Forged and Accurized there for max range if we're talking PvP. In PvE, I'm probably going to go for something like Tactical Mag maybe. Or maybe even Seraph rounds because those are very, very good as well. I might even go Seraph rounds overall because it's pretty much just ricochet rounds, but better because it's just they over penetrate targets and bounce off hard surfaces. Very, very good there. And it combines the penetration from armor piercing rounds, the ricochet aspect of ricochet rounds, and the flinch increase from high caliber rounds. Also increases damage fall off by 10%, identical to the old ricochet rounds. That's what Seraph rounds does. So very, very good there. As for the next perk, if we're talking PvP, I'm definitely going to go for Rangefinder there to boost up that range. In my opinion, that's probably going to be the best thing to go with. In terms of PvE, Reconstruction is very nice. I do like Reconstruction a lot. Or something like Fourth Time's the Charm. I think both of these are definitely the best thing that you could pick with these, or you could get. But that's really it when it comes to the traits. I really only feel like Reconstruction, Fourth Times for PvE are the best. Ambitious isn't too bad though. Rangefinder for sure for PvP. I don't really care much about well-rounded, and I don't really use air assault either. So not really my cup of tea there. In terms of the next perk, we have Vorpal Weapon Harmony, High Impact Reserves, Gut Shot Straight, Perfect Float, and Redirection. So Redirection, I think is really nice. I don't know how useful this will be on a 180, but not bad that you can have reconstruction and redirection. Not bad there. They also have perfect float, so being in combat for a moderate time increases airborne effectiveness and reduces flinch while you out of combat. Not terrible for PvE. Honestly, for PvE, I would go with something like Harmony or High Impact Reserves. I would try to stay away from Gut Shot. I don't really care for Gut Shot too much. I don't really think it's great. Plus a 10% damage boost, I don't know if that's worth it. So yeah, but for PvE, I probably would still go with High Impact Reserves, maybe even Vorpal Weapon Reconstruction, this thing. And of course, we are going to have the Rasputin's Arsenal Origin trait, which breaking a target shield partially reloads his weapon's magazine. So I would go for something like this. Not super great, but not bad either. So that's it for that. Next is the 7th Seraph Carbine. Kind of the same deal with barrels. I might even go fluted on this. Arrowhead Break is very good as well. I would probably wouldn't have full bore. Fluted, yeah, I probably like fluted in terms of barrels. I am gonna put the masterwork up. I would go with plus 10 range also on the other one. Again with the Seraph rounds because they're just so good. Let's be honest with ourselves. And now we're gonna talk about the PvP role really quick. There are a few that look really nice to me. The main one that I'm seeing would be Dynamic Sway and either Swashbuckler or Rangefinder. Probably Swashbuckler overall over Rangefinder. And Rangefinder for PvP is very, very good. But I feel like with a hand or a AR like this, I like to have a damage perk. So me personally, I would go Swashbuckler. But again, Rangefinder would be very nice as well. It's also a 450, so that's good. So this is what I would run for PvP, or maybe even Pugilist and Swashbuckler work very, very well together. So maybe even this. But in terms of PvE, you got a lot of decent things in here. Fourth Times would be very good on this. Again, Reconstruction isn't terrible, but I feel like that's better on special weapons as well. So me personally, I would go with, I'd probably go with Fourth Times, maybe even Pugilist. It's not that bad. But I'm going to stick with Fourth Times for this. Frenzy would not be too bad if you're really using this for like damage. I don't know. Or even target lock. So if I'm using this to just spray out a mob, this wouldn't be that bad on the eyes boss. The first boss on Spire actually, with the target lock in the Fourth Times, assuming that hitting those eyes increase your damage with target lock. That might not be too bad. But I don't think, as in terms of it being an AR, I mean, I don't know. It might not, this might not be too bad. We'll see. So that's really it. What I would run is either Frenzy 4th times, maybe even try Target Lock 4th times, or maybe even Pugilist Frenzy for PvE. And if we're talking PvP, definitely Swashbuckler, Dynamic Sway, or Pugilist. Moving Target and Rangefinder would not be that bad also. So that is it when it comes to that gun. Next, we're going to go with the Wilder Flight. This is where the good stuff comes in because these are the weapons that people actually care about. So definitely going to run Blinding Nades all the time. I feel like Blinding Nades, that actually depends. If I'm using this for ad clear, which most GLs like this I would be, I'm going to want to run Blinding Nades because they blind. And seeing as this thing shoots twice, like 2 at a time, that's going to be very, very nice. So I would probably want that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what the best one is. I think it's Smart Drift Control, maybe. I really don't know, or Hard Launch. I really don't know what the launcher like juicers are. But yeah, let's go with Smart Drift Control there. We're at like 98 velocity. You just get so many bonuses with this. I feel like that's kind of the move. I don't know. You could even go with this slot here is Spike Grenades, if depending on what you're using this for. And I'm already seeing some really good things in this slot. Demolitionist is really nice there. Danger Zone is cool. I don't think Danger Zone really helps you out with a GL though. Like, oh no, sorry, I don't think it's gonna help you out with blinding grenades. So if I'm rocking Spike Nades, Danger Zone would be really nice. Blinding Nades probably not. I do like auto loading a lot. I think this is probably going to be the best bet there. And I'm already seeing some phenomenal perks here. Vorpal Weapon, for sure. I really, really like Vorpal. That would be super nice. Disruption Break as well. Breaking enemies makes you more vulnerable to kinetic damage. That's very nice. Frenzy, Adrenaline Junkie. There's a lot of good shit on here. I'm not going to lie. Probably if I'm talking PvP, we're going to just go with the PvP approach first. I probably wouldn't go with autoloading. Maybe Danger Zone, Unrelenting. Honestly, I don't think this thing's great for PvP in terms of roles. So there's like a few in here, like Demolitionist wouldn't be too bad, and then you could pair it with Adrenaline Junkie if you want to go with like a grenade thing. And even in PvP, or PvE, this would not be bad at all for ad clear. I would actually use this. But in terms of PvE, definitely gonna go with autoloading a holster, or yeah, autoloading holster here for PvE. Sorry, I don't know if I said PvP, but. And maybe even Vorpal Weapon or Frenzy here. I wish this thing could run with for one for all, so it could pretty much be like the Ignition Code 2.0, but it shoots like 2 at a time. Unfortunately, it doesn't. So this isn't too bad though. Like really, it isn't. And I forgot to mention. Well, yeah, they all come with this new origin trait, text balance stock. Damaging targets while firing from the hip increases handling, reload speed, and movement speed while ADSing. So very, very nice there. So that's really it when it comes to the Wilder Flight. Next on the list is the Terminus Horizon. This is the machine gun. It's a slow boy. So the first things first is in terms of barrels. Again, I don't really know. I'd probably go with like Arrowhead Break. I don't know. And Ricochet rounds for PvP. PvE Light Mag probably, or even Alloy Mag. That's what I would personally go with. And in terms of the first slot, I'm seeing a lot of decent things in here. Some things that I think are going to be really, really nice that paired together. I think that Dragonfly in this slot is really interesting. So you could go with something like Dragonfly and Volt Shot. That would be kind of cool. I'm not a big fan of Compulsive Reloader. I don't think it's... I personally would avoid it. Hipfire Grip, I don't really like... I wouldn't really want on Terminus Horizon either. Triple Tap, however, I would want. I think Triple Tap is a very, very good perk for PvE and PvP. Or maybe not PvP, but definitely PvE. Rapid Hit if I'm playing PvP, or maybe even Demolitionist. But probably going to go with Rapid Hit for PvP. But we're going to stick with the PvE thing because I think this is where it's going to really shine. So in terms of PvE, definitely Triple Tap. So next, Volt Shot. Volt Shot is good. I like Volt Shot. If you're running in like an Arc 3.0 thing about volting, then yeah, this would be nice for ad clear, I guess. But I think there's some interesting perks on here that make me want to use something else rather than Volt Shot for PvE and PvP. So personally, I would not go with that. Cascade Point, final blows or sustained precision hits with another weapon increases weapon's rate of fire for a short duration. Maybe in PvE or PvP. In PvP, I can see this being very nice and useful if you're hot swapping to a machine gun. But in terms of PvE, I mean, I'm not really hot swapping to a G or a machine gun like that, so I'm not super big on Cascade Point. It could be really good, but in terms of like what it says, not really my cup of tea. Adrenaline Junkie, very nice in PvE and PvP. I do like Adrenaline Junkie a lot. If you're going for ad clear, this could be really, really nice to get that damage up. So this is definitely my number one pick for PvE. High impact reserves is going to be the best for PvP in my opinion. You're not going to get a full magazine, and you're going to get high impact reserves almost instantly with a machine gun like this. So definitely for PvP, go high impact and rapid hit. I think these are probably the best things, or maybe even demolitionist and high impact reserves for PvP. This, in my opinion, is the best thing. Or even Dragonfly. That'd be kind of crazy. But in terms of PvE, we are going to keep triple tap on. Or maybe even Dragonfly. If you're going for full ad clear, I would definitely go Dragonfly and Volt Shot, or maybe even Adrenaline Junkie. But for the time being, I'm just going to put triple tap on, assuming we're shooting a boss for some reason. Wellspring, not bad. Not really my cup of tea, though, for PvE. So I want to go with that. And then Target Lock, which I would personally go with, is damage increases the longer this weapon remains on a target. So if we're using this machine gun for simply shooting bosses, then you definitely want to go with Target Lock and like rapid hit or triple tap. This is probably really good for that. But in terms of PvE, like ad clear, if that's what you're using this for, which most cases you probably would be, Dragonfly and Adrenaline Junkie, I think, is definitely the move. So I would definitely go with that. But that is it for the Terminus Horizon. Next, we get into the two weapons that I personally care about the most, that being the Liminal Vigil as our first one. Now, this thing rolls crazy. So I am going to juice up that range because I want to see how much range you could get with this thing. In terms of PvP, I would never bring this thing in the PvE, though I will show you a roll with that. So if we're going for max range, you can probably get it. You can get it to 88, which is crazy. And that's not including the rangefinder that you can get on it. Now, I would not recommend running full bore. I would run something more like arrowhead break, to be honest. Or maybe even like small bore or fluted or corkscrew. Honestly, there's a lot of barrels here that I wouldn't be too upset with. But I would personally, I think I might go with I might even go with arrowhead just for the increase to that recoil direction. You could also get the same thing with chamber compensator, but the problem is you lose some handling, which this thing seems to lack. So I wouldn't go with that personally. Hammer Forge would not be bad, but for now I'm gonna go with arrowhead break, ricochet rounds there. Again, I'm not bringing this in the PvE, so I'm not really gonna change it for that. PvP, there's a lot of great perks for here. Tunnel vision is really nice. If you wanted to go with like tunnel vision kill clip, that could be a very good combo. I personally would not use those two together, but not bad. I mean, headstone, really good there as well. It's like the stasis version of a headstone, or of headstone, stasis version of like Firefly or Dragonfly. So that's awesome. Threat detector is really good to boost up the stability and reload and handling animation shit. Like you can definitely do that. And this would be really, really useful in PvP as well. Tap the trigger, freaking phenomenal. I might even go with that. You know, I feel like tap the trigger is definitely a really good perk. But actually, I think the most S tier perk on here is perpetual motion. You just get so much, like, you just get so many free benefits, like 5 stability, handling, and reload, or times 2 with 15 on stability, handling, and reload. This is a must, I feel like. Just so free stats. In stats, in my opinion, that are very, very important. So for me, that's definitely the move there. So we're going to go right to the next slot here. There's a lot of good ones. Quick draw is nice. I wouldn't want quick draw because I think this thing has so much like kill potential based on some of the things that I'm seeing. So personally, I would not go with quick draw. Kill clip, I would not be mad at. I like kill clip a lot. And seeing as you can refresh it now, that wouldn't be too bad. Swashbuckler, I would probably have, if I wanted a damage perk, I would probably take Swashbuckler over anything. But to be honest, on this thing, I don't want a damage perk because there's Desperado. Desperado, after a precision kill, it's going to increase your rate of fire by 30%. That is insane. And seeing as this is a 2-burst sidearm, it can make this thing absolutely super deadly. So Desperado is definitely the move there. Or even Rangefinder wouldn't be bad as well. Perpetual Rangefinder is very nice, but for me, I would definitely go with Perpetual Desperado. This is definitely the god roll in my opinion for the Liminal Vigil in PvP. Again, for like PvE, you have like Surrounded Threat Detector, or even Surrounded and Headstone. But personally, I would never bring this thing into PvE. So just so you know. And last but definitely not least, we have the Long Arm Scout Rifle. This is what I was interested in the most. So let's see what this thing can actually roll with. So definitely going to go with a range masterwork here. Could go handling as well, but personally, range is definitely what I want on this thing. Now, barrels. I'm going to stay away from fluted. I want to have this thing at high handling a little bit there. So fluted barrel would be really nice. So 65 range, 68 handling is not bad. Small bore would work very well. Even hammer forged if you want to juice up that range there. Arrowhead break would be fantastic. And you increase that. Actually, yeah, I'd probably go arrowhead break. Seeing as you can get a plus up to 100 recoil direction, that's probably the move. If I can get 100 recoil direction, that'd be really nice. Next perk, definitely accurate rounds. Juice up that range to 75. Very, very good there. This is definitely what I think is the best thing for it. And now we're going to go into the PvE rolls. There's a few in here that I think would be really nice. Subsistence or Rapid Hit are definitely the best picks in my opinion for PvE. Wellspring isn't my biggest, like Wellspring, Under Pressure, and Compulsive Reloader don't really help you. I don't really like that much. And Hipfire Grip's really not going to help you out that much. Next, Redirection wouldn't be too bad. If we're going for Ad Clear, I'd probably pick something like Dragonfly or Adrenaline Junkie. Yeah, either one of those two. High Impact Reserves wouldn't be bad either. Explosive Payload is really, really nice. Something like that, but I think Rapid Hit, Adrenaline Junkie, this is what I would use for PvE. Not that I would bring this thing in the PvE, to be honest, but you could do it. But now we're going to get into what I think this gun's true purpose is, and that is PvP. And the best slot that I'm seeing here on this side is the Hipfire Grip. Because this thing's origin trait incentivizes you going for hip firing, I want Hipfire Grip because that's going to help me hit those shots a lot easier from afar. And that's why this thing's being compared to the DMT. So yeah, definitely going to go with Hipfire Grip for PvP. It's the best perk out there. If you plan on ADSing this thing like 90% of the time, sure, go Rapid Hit. But if you learn to hipfire this thing, Hipfire Grip's going to be the best thing for you. Now, for the next perk, I'm going to be honest with you. I would not be upset with any of these for PvP, except for maybe Redirection. I don't really want that. I don't know how well that works in PvP or if it works at all. So personally, I would want something like Adrenaline Junkie, because it works like Swashbuckler, so I can get a damage perk after another kill and another kill, and maybe eventually I'll be able to 2-tap with this. That would be really, really good. Dragonfly would be okay in PvP. Again, wouldn't be too upset about it, but there's some other perks in here that I think would be a lot stronger. Like, for instance, Opening Shot. This is the first perk that I think is S tier for this thing. Opening Shot would be really nice on here, especially if you're firing from the hip. So for sure, Opening Shot would be really, really good. High Impact Reserves, though, would also be phenomenal for PvP. And because once you get that lower, it's going to go to like 6% damage boost. I mean, if this thing crits for 80, you're not going to be able to 2-tap, but you do get a lot of forgiveness, which would be really, really good there. And then the next perk here is Explosive Payload. Now, this would be really, really good as well because Explosive Payload increases your flinch on people. Insane. You do get a little bit of a damage boost as well, and you do get more range drop off also. So that's kind of crazy. You get more flinch, and it does a little bit more damage, meaning you might have a little bit more forgiveness. So definitely S tier. In terms of PvP, my big three in terms of perks would be definitely Adrenaline Junkie, Opening Shot, or Explosive Payload. I wouldn't be upset again with like High Impact or Dragonfly or even Redirection, to be honest, but I would more so use those for PvE. But that is it when it comes to the Spire of the Watcher weapon rolls. I know it was kind of long, but we got through them all. Next, I'm going to be doing the Dawning weapons. There are 4 of those, so it'll be a lot shorter. So stay tuned for that video. But that's really all I have for today, guys. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.